Hey, Jeremy here with the Practical IT channel. In this video, we're taking a super unauthorized look at the LibreOffice 7.1 beta, and this is due to be released in spring 2021. Let's get started. All right, we are connected to the Ubuntu Linux box I've got running in the other room, and we're on the LibreOffice website. So we're going to come here to the download drop down, and we want to look for development versions. Whoops. Okay. So we have right here LibreOffice 7.1.0 Beta 1. Let's take a look at the release notes real quick. Okay, so if you're on Windows or Mac OS, you can install this in parallel to your production version of LibreOffice, which means it's not going to conflict. You could have both running at the same time and do some real world comparisons that way. And this might be useful for people. For me, I'm going to be testing it both on Linux and on Windows, and I may even install it on Mac OS. So this is going to tell us about new features, as in progress list of features for this version is available here. So it's going to take us to a third web page. And it's going to go down and it's going to tell you all the big features. And it looks like they're concentrating on Writer and Calc, which that's not real surprising because that's those are the two most popular applications from the LibreOffice suite. So let's come down and take a look at Writer, because honestly I use Writer more than anything else. Outline folding mode, that could be interesting. Table formulas, Syle Inspector, that would have been useful when I was in grad school and doing long papers. Input fields, speed up the find replace operation, that's a welcome change. ODF subtable conversion. Interesting. Simple cases of subtables in legacy ODF documents initially created in OpenOffice.org 2.2 and older can now be converted to modern row span tables on import. That's good to know. I've still got some old documents from my undergrad days, and I did everything I could in LibreOffice because, hey, I was a college student and didn't want to pay for Microsoft Office. That was one of the pieces of software I could not get for free as an IT student. So, looks like they've added ScriptForge libraries to the basic interpreter built in, and they do have Python. So, in my book, that's a huge advantage over Microsoft Office, which is still flogging the Visual Basic for applications, which I have no love for that language. Okay, so we want to take a look and it doesn't link us directly to the download for those beta builds for Linux anyways. Or does it? It does. Well, let's take a look at this. We'll go ahead and download that. We'll save it. And so while we're waiting on that, I will do a real quick transition over and we will start the same process on Windows. Okay. So we'll jump out to LibreOffice.org. Again, we'll go to download. We're going to go to development versions. LibreOffice 7.1.0 beta. Download version. And that should prompt me to save the file. And on Windows, it's going to download as an MSI. And that'll take a few minutes. So I will be right back once these are done downloading, and we'll go over the install procedure. Okay, so we're done downloading on the Ubuntu side. So I'm going to come over to our terminal, go to, make that a little bit bigger for all of you. We're going to go to downloads and list our files. And so we've got a LibreOffice Dev 7.1.0. So we're going to extract it from the archive. All right. And move into that directory. And we've got a Debian file. Folder. Okay, we moved into the LibreOffice folder, and we're going to go in. Let's look at the README real quick. Less README. Actually, that's a folder too. So let's go look at this real first. Less README. Latest updates, go to the website, blah, blah, blah. Use it free of charge. Requires a recent Java runtime environment. And we're not going to have any problem meeting system requirements. All right, so we're going to go back and we're going to go into Debs. And we are going to say sudo apt install star.deb. enter the password, and that crapped out on us. Okay, so let's do, we've got all these deb files here. Let's look at, come on. Okay. So let's do sudo dpkg-i lodev Alright, so the official suggested way to install this is sudo dpkg-i star.deb and it should go through and do the whole install for us. And unfortunately, this is something that cannot easily be installed through the Ubuntu software store because, again, it's beta software. This is generally out of the scope of features that they support in the Ubuntu software store. And in all honesty, I don't really use the Ubuntu software store all that much anyways because, well, it didn't exist when I started using Ubuntu. So it's one of those things where if I think I can do it faster at the command line, then I'm going to do it at the command line. And, you know, that's that. So while we're waiting here, let's switch over to our Windows machine and see how that's progressing on the download. Okay, it looks like our download is complete, so we'll open that folder, close tabs on the browser, and we'll just do a right click, install, and we get a nice little wizard. Next, 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 finish, blah, blah, blah. And that will take a couple of minutes to finish there. So let's jump back over to Ubuntu. We're done with the installation there. So let's take a look in our menu. And as you can see, for each application, we've got two icons. So LibreOffice Writer, and this is going to be LibreOffice Dev Writer. So we'll open up the beta version of LibreOffice Writer. And we don't need tooltips. I can close release notes. Take a look at the about. And we have, in fact, LibreOffice 7.1.0.0 Beta 1. All right. And so on the surface, not a lot has changed. But they have, let's see, they have probably shouldn't have closed the release notes. All right, so again, on the surface, not a lot has changed, but this looks remarkably the same as the previous version. And in fact, we could let's see. Since we're using the widescreen monitor, let's just take and run these side by side. And then we'll launch Writer here. And so as you can see, you can have both of them running at the same time. Side by side. Again, the big difference that you can see right now is on the left we've got LibreOffice Writer. This is the version that came with Ubuntu. And this is an older version, 6.4.6.2. And on the right, we have, again, the 7.1 beta version. So, again, not a lot will have changed on the surface. And this is where you'd want to go over to the website. We still have Firefox going. We do. This is where you want to go to the website, and we want to take a look at those release notes again. So, development versions. And we want to look at release notes. New features. Jump back to the new features page. Okay. So, I don't have handy any old writer documents for conversion right this moment, but let's look at this Syle Inspector option. So they added Syle Inspector for displaying the attributes of paragraph styles, character styles, and manually formatted properties. Read the necessity of this tool here. So let's just take a look at this one feature. And of course, banner pop-ups at the bottom. And then maybe we can... Okay. Proposal to conveniently highlight and inspect styles in LibreOffice Writer. Issues and requirements. Let's see. Styles Inspector will become another tab in the sidebar. Okay, so that gives us a hint right there. So let's jump back over to LibreOffice Dev Writer. And what is that? F12 brings up the sidebar. No. F11 brings up the sidebar. So styles. So let's go over here. And we'll generate some text. We'll play with some styles. And let's see, we got 5 paragraphs. That's fine. That will let us do what we want to do. Okay. I'll come in here and paste it in. And then we're going to just start messing around with styles. And we'll make some of this italic. And we'll make some of this underlined. And we'll make some of this a different font. And change the size. Okay. Not terribly realistic formatting there, but it should allow us to look at this feature. So if we jump back over to the write-up for this, a styles highlighter. Addresses document structure. Okay, so that's a separate piece. So we really want to focus on this styles inspector. And let's take a look, see what we can find out. How do we trigger this? Styles inspector. And not obvious right from the get-go. Let's pull this up full screen. Might make it a little bit easier to figure out this piece. Or not. Let's see. Paragraph styles, character styles, frame styles, page styles, list styles, table styles. Sidebar settings, properties, page, styles, gallery, navigator. Okay. Sections. All right. Well, let's see. Styles. Navigator is not listed under the styles menu. That would be too freaking easy. Well, all right. I'll hose this section. Let's move back to our windows. All right, we're back on Windows and the wizard has completed. So now on the desktop here, we've got LibreOffice 7.1, LibreOffice Dev 7.1 to be exact. And we will pick on Writer, kill the tooltips, we can look at release notes, which is probably going to open a web page to where we were before. Okay, and I'm still interested in this Syle Inspector. And I really wish I knew how to trigger this. Let's generate some text. Seven paragraphs. Okay. Copy. We'll paste it in here. We're going to put a header. Oops. And we're going to make this heading 1. And we'll come down here. Header 2. And we will make this section, whoops, .14. Okay, so on the sidebar over here, no tooltips. Okay. Page format, blah, blah, blah. Properties. Styles. We might be getting somewhere here. Text body. First line indent. I think these are existing styles. Frame styles, page styles. Okay, those are existing styles. Got gallery. Navigator. See if this is anything different. Headings. Header 1, header 2. Aha! The bottom item. Syle Inspector. We found it. Wasn't obvious, but we found it. Why there's no tooltip, I'm not sure. Okay. So, paragraph styles. This is kind of cool. Maybe that's the last item. Okay, so there might be a glitch here. Let's see. There is a little glitch here. So, I'm hoping this has been taken care of for by the time the second beta comes out. But we have an issue here with no scroll bar. And if you watch, we can scroll down past the bottom of the page and it doesn't automatically update. So that's a little glitch in my book. Let's head over to the Linux side and see if we can reproduce it there. Okay, now that we know that our Syle Inspector is this guy right here, again, there's no toolbar there. If we open up default paragraph style, now this is interesting because on the Linux version we can scroll down and there is a scroll bar. So perhaps it's just the Windows version, or at least the Windows version, that has that issue. Interesting. And, you know, who wants to be a beta tester? I don't want to do it for a living, but sometimes it can be kind of fun just to poke around at features and see where you can find something that doesn't look quite right. And I think we succeeded in doing that. So let's jump back to the Windows side one more time and then we'll get ready to wrap this up. Okay, we are back on Windows, and so you can get around this by collapsing sections and, you know, going that route, but you really shouldn't have to. And the middle scroll wheel does not seem to be working here. And no, this is not a virtual machine. This is just a remote connection to a physical box. So that might be an issue between the Windows version and the Linux version. So that is going to be interesting to keep an eye on. But the bottom line here is that you can have some fun beta testing. It's good to check out the features that are upcoming if that's something you're interested in. And this will allow you to get a leg up on other people that might be using the same software. This will allow you to be able to plan for future documents and things that you may not have been able to do previously in LibreOffice. We're not going to save this. And just for grins, we'll launch the 7.0 version. And that Styles Inspector should not be there. So we'll open up a writer document. Fine. Okay. We'll paste in our Ipsum Lorem text or Lorem Ipsum text. And so we've got a navigator, but we don't have the style option there. So don't save. Whereas pasting the same thing in here. And F11 to open up styles. And you can see right below this guy is our style inspector. So that's a first look at LibreOffice 7.1 Beta 1. And again, we focused on the LibreOffice Writer component. That's the piece that I use most often. Calc is the second most often used component. But this was just a quick look, and we may have actually discovered a potential bug or glitch or something here. I'm going to want to do some more testing and see if it's something that warrants being reported to the LibreOffice developers. So that's going to bring us to the end of another Practical IT video. If you got something out of this video, please give a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can get notifications. And I will see you in the next video. Stay safe out there, happy computing, and have a great day.